everybody. Welcome to episode 19. As promised, you guys saw the first segment of the video in the introduction. We were the horses at a beautiful place, the Society of Animal Distress. You guys saw on episode 18. Yes, episode 18, you guys spoke on a previous episode that we are going to come to the Society of Animals in Distress and also talk on what we're going to talk about today. As you do know that from episode 19 to episode 29, we're now on the real breakdown, where we are not now only speaking to the youth, but going into organizations, going into the society, and have a platform such as we have here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, with People Talk with KT, whereby we talk on these social issues. All right, and yes, we are with Meg here, the CEO of the Society of Animals in Distress. As you guys can see, we call it SAID for short. As you guys can see, the logo just right on the corner on her side. We are here to talk about on animal care awareness. That is our breakdown on today, our real breakdown on today. Yes, Meg, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to the society.
Yes, no, thank you very much for having me. I've fallen in love with this organization. I think a year back when I came with my friends, Jennifer. You guys also have seen on my Instagram. Jennifer, a friend of mine who also does jewelry. And Nissa is a very good volunteer here as well.
Yes, we could do without him easily.
She's an amazing. Yes, my two friends would come here, and I'd always have interest in the animals, and it was very. I've lived here for like 4 years, and I was here for 4 years, and I never knew until Nissa brought us like, oh my God, there's all these talking about this. So yes, we are now speaking to the CEO Meg. Of this very organization, and she has welcomed us to talk on more questions that we have. So tell me, how and why did this organization start exactly?
So this organization started 65 years ago. Yes. One lady who was a force to be reckoned with decided that she had had enough of people not being able to afford veterinary care. Okay. And particularly in those times, it was very difficult in Africa. Our political standpoint was very different to what it is today. Yes. And so a lot of animals were being neglected, not because the owners didn't want to give their animals what they needed, just a matter of there was just no access to it. So she borrowed a butcher's bakkie, a butcher's bakkie of all things, went into impoverished areas and drove veterinary access to these animals. And we've kind of just taken that torch and carried on shining it. We've gone from borrowing a butcher's bakkie to having a fleet of vehicles that go into these areas. We have a state-of-the-art hospital. And more than that, we focus very heavily on education. Okay. A lot of the things that other animal welfare organizations and people in general don't understand is the link between humans and animals, the intrinsic link between the two, and how our moral progress is very dependent on how our animals are treated. So taking a look at various violent crimes, for example, like rape or murder, or habitual abuse, domestic violence, gender-based violence, child abuse, it often starts with animals. And that gets sort of disregarded as, it's just an animal. Our police are so heavy laden with so many things that this isn't as important because it's not impacting people, but it really is. It is. Because they progress into people. And then more than that, companion animals help with mental health. Yes. Which is also something that's for so many years just either there just hasn't been enough information or has just blatantly been ignored. That when you have a happy animal at home, even if it lives outside, you don't have to love the animal. You can just give it its basic needs and it's a happy animal. It impacts your mental health quite drastically, that it makes you live longer. It does. So I have a story to tell myself. It does. So our focus, although the thing that you can see with Society of Animals in Distress is our veterinary care and the fact that we take our veterinary care into areas where they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford veterinary care. As you guys can see the pictures on the slide. The main focus is to make sure that the relationship between man and animal, and like I say, it doesn't have to be a relationship of love, just a relationship of mutual respect, is really engendered, and empathy is really engendered in our youth so that they develop into moral humans. And we sort of decline in the violence in this country. Crazy, these animals have this little innate way of healing. So a cat's purr can heal a broken bone.
Wow.
So you have a broken bone, your cat purrs on you, and your bone heals quicker than what it would without. And then if you look at COVID times when it was lockdown and single people that were living by themselves, how suicide skyrocketed. But so did adoptions at animal welfare organizations. Because people realized that a companion animal was just what would be their saving grace. So animals play a vital role in us as humans, even if we don't acknowledge it. And so it's really vitally important that we take care of them.
The lady that walked up, who drove out of the butcher's truck.
Oh, Dee. Her name was Dee. Yeah, she's no longer in this world, but I'm sure she's looking down on us. Really proud of what she started.
Her legacy is booming. I tell you, I love it, and it's gonna keep on because I mean, even the animals, I'm sure themselves really feel they bring it out to the universe that yes, this stay in such a place for us, this stay in such a place for us. I mean, when you interact with the horses. Oh my gosh, they're just that you could just hug them. You know what I mean? Because also just go like, yeah, patty. You know what I mean? And then there's Bella. There's Bella. Oh, yeah, I know Bella very well. Bella, you see a picture coming up about taking pictures of her a lot. Bella's the when she starts coming running, hey, look, everybody just moves up. It's so sweet how they have different personalities as well.
And how they sort of just find their place in the herd. So originally when I started to have, I've only been here for 8 or 9 months now. All our horses were in separate camps. We had 2 in a camp and 2 in a camp and 2 in a camp. And then we had to move them for Diwali. So we had to integrate them because we were moving them to a different farm so that they would be here for Diwali. And it was the best thing we ever did. So now we haven't stopped integrating them.
So they are they did have a fight once, I remember. It was like, boom,
which is normal in any family, so you would expect it in a herd.
It was kind of cute how they just kind of was like, okay, whatever, let's keep going.
And they find their place and like,
it's so
the dominant one takes the lead and then they all
what's the white one's name? Avalon.
He's the king.
He's like, look,
he calls the shots.
Don't listen to me. I've seen Avalon, but there's also an old dark one. I mean, I think that's the grandpa that we really.
Yes, he is retired.
He's like, hey, what's up?
Retired and enjoying his last years.
Yeah, he's really, I can see it, and he's just, when they have a little fight, he's like, I'm going to have some hay.
It's like that Kermit the Frog with his teeth.
You know what I mean?
So I think the main vision was to make sure that every animal had access to veterinary care. How it's grown over the years and how it's developing, particularly centered around what my focus is here in the next year, is to make sure that we get into schools at foundation phase, so the years where they're learning empathy, where kids are learning empathy. And particularly in high violence areas, to try and break the cycle of violence, because if they don't develop that empathy, they'll never have it. And then it's more, they have to be controlled humans as opposed to heart-led humans, which we don't want the controlled humans, because controlled humans, they can slip and slide, and one thing gets left unfed, and then before you know it, it's an avalanche of problems. So our main focus for 2024 is to really get to that critical age where they're learning empathy, teach them empathy, give them resources to ensure that even when they go home and they're exposed to violence on a daily basis, that they're not forgetting that there's more to life than what they are seeing here. So that's our critical focus in the next year. And hopefully we'll start seeing a change in the trajectory of South Africa.
Yes, as well, because they're healers. And it goes back to your experience working here. How's your experience working? How do you guys get the horses that you took with Avalon and Bella and so forth? and the partnerships and donations,
Yeah.
non-shop, now you're going internally, you're going micro.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
your market sales, everything, just the experience and you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been in animal welfare for 12 years. I started in the national SPCA.
Oh, lovely.
I worked my way through the ranks there. Then I managed a local SPCA, which is
Okay.
completely different. Although you would
Oh, so
think.
there's national and there's local.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
So your
Nice.
national SPCA deals with sort of government level things. So they're trying
okay.
to change laws. They do the intense research into the various practices that happen around animals.
Okay.
And then they're the governing body for the local SPCAs.
Okay.
So I was there. I started off as a receptionist. I moved my way into management. I was an inspector, and then I became the comms manager there.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of exposure to the various ways that humans function around animals,
Yeah.
and the impact that our actions have on animals and what that does to humans as well.
Okay.
I then went to work at Santon SPCA, which is very much a localized law enforcement.
Okay.
So you go and you do animal cruelty investigations around your local area. You bring in unwanted animals or stray animals, you rehome them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a step before the SPCA.
Yeah.
In terms of our mandate. Yeah.
No, because every time I talk about this place, the Simon is like, oh, you mean the SPCA? I'm like, no.
So SPCA essentially, although their heart is so much about outreach and trying to change the problems before they become problems, but they just don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
Every animal welfare organisation in this country is strapped for resources. It's just the reality of the situation. So they're more focused on law enforcement, which is at the end game, when you've tried to educate this person and they're not educatable, if that's even a word. They're not teachable.
They're not teachable.
So our job here, our focus is to be that teacher before it gets to the point where you then have to go in with warrants and remove animals and prosecute court cases. So to try and fix the problem before it becomes a crime. So
it's the root.
Yeah. So it's a lot more feel good than the SPCA. I have to say, I have a lot of respect for inspectors out there that face what they face. And there's almost more hope in our organisation because we get to hone in on education and on supporting these people and then seeing the change, as opposed to having to go in and remove animals and then prosecute, and then it's too late for this person to make any changes. So that's my history, where I come from. So I've also had, with my comms, I've had a broad understanding of fundraising, of donors, and South Africa is a very interesting place to fundraise because there's so much need. There is so much need. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying, I think it was Switzerland. Switzerland or Sweden don't have a single charity. It's because their governments are doing their jobs.
Okay.
So any issue is being attacked head on by the government. Whereas here, I don't think we need to elaborate.
Well, yes, we've spoken about one of the episodes. Yes.
There's so much need. So there's need for charities, there's need for welfare and organisations to kind of step up for the government and fill these roles. So because there's so much need, the average donor gets exhausted. And your donors, they're not people that care about themselves. They're empaths, and they're high in empathy, so they get drained very easily when they are exposed to all this drama. So as much as we try and harness the donor giving us just once-off donations or monthly giving, we also understand that that's a lot to ask in this country in particular. So we try, more than fundraising, we try and create opportunities for income. So like our barn shop, where we...
The barn shop, guys.
You know me so well.
I'm pressing every day, you know it.
The firing, getting fired, getting back. You should have met me first.
I didn't even get a chance.
No.
I was just introduced.
No.
I came wearing my captain attitude, I've got my camera, I've got such, I think there was a guitar to one now, but I'm trying to band that I was playing, you don't listen to it, but like there is the bar shop, right? Vinyls,
Anything you can sell. One match trash is another match treasure, right? So like people will bring us the most bizarre things, and strangely enough, they get sold.
No, because you know what, Jen and I listen to, when you look at the original price, and woo!
That's true.
So it's actually quite good, and you guys, at least because you got donated, at least you guys just found a way to, that's an opportunity of income, like you said.
100%.
And it's really working with growing the legacy of Didi and of this organization's mission and vision. So we've already covered the challenges and triumphs that you guys have experienced, and message for animal care awareness that you have maybe specifically for the youth. This is like our inspiration ending, because I did say to them off camera before we had the episode that the real talk with Katie is about awareness. It is about real talk. It's, like I always say, guys, taboos. We talk about social issues, and she has covered a lot on the social issues, and I'm glad that she has, and now, the awareness of animal care. So what inspiring message and so forth, any, message do you have for,
So I think the biggest thing is that it's scientifically proven that animals are sentient, so they have feelings. They can feel fear, distress, pain, anything that you can fear, they can feel,
And
so
10
times more, because they also can't communicate, so they're not able to say to us, like, this is making me a little terrified, or I'm really, really hungry, please feed me. So if we just bear in mind that if we were in this animal's position, and I'm not likening them to humans, because I think that a lot of people can be offended by that kind of, like when people go, well, this dog is my baby. It's not really,
No, but to be honest, there's only two life forms though. There's plant life and animal life. So in the deeper sense, we're all animals.
100%. And I'm all for liking humans and animals, but I know that it does make people uncomfortable. So I'm not, and that's why I also come back to there's no need to love the animal, just to respect the animal. Just like you don't need, maybe, if you read the Bible, I'm going to be telling you completely the opposite of biblically what it says. But you don't need to love a person. Just respect that person. And this world will be a much better place. And it's the same for animals.
Yes.
Animals have feelings just like we do. If we get sick and we need to see a doctor, a dog or a cat gets sick and needs to see a doctor. And it's just little things like that, just little tweaks in the way that we think about animals that will make all the difference. And more than that, just be eyes and ears for organizations that protect animals. Because before you know it, you're telling us that this dog is being chained horrifically and is being starved. And someone walks in there to make a difference, and they find a child or a woman being starved and chained in the same manner. You could be impacting people like you cannot believe. So don't turn a blind eye, even if it seems small. Pick up the phone and phone an authority.
And you guys will get the details. They are coming up on the screen as well for the Society of Animals in Distress. She spoke about the SPCA. They are coming up, as you guys can see. Keep track of that, screenshot that. And as she said, looking out for our fellow animals. And they are to be, that respect itself is love, in a way of just saying that, okay, fine, if you want to say love, the same, so I completely get you, because it automatically becomes that. So thank you very much, thanks for having us. Thank you for this segment of the episode. Thank you for covering everything. And we are looking forward to I'm still coming to the brand shop, definitely, and
see cuddle our horses.
And cuddle horses, and to see definitely much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, okay.